Smackdown!
Morning glory and hallelujah, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Thursday. It is the very first day of May 2025. Big J, we've never seen May before this year until today.
What?
How does it feel?
What?
We've never seen it. Today's the first day of May. You could have said it's May, but you would be inaccurate until this very day.
Okay.
So this is the first day of May. Maybe you thought yesterday was. That's not true.
No.
Today is. And therefore, it's a new month, perhaps even a new beginning for you, Big J. True or false?
True. Very true.
You like to do like an internal reset every single month, right? We often grade the month by month, and so it's a clean slate.
No,
huh?
We don't do that.
We do. I give you a grade. I ask you for grades sometimes for the month, and you give them to me.
All right.
Like, what was your April grade?
I don't know. I'm leaning towards a B. We did get to go see ACDC.
It's true. But some terrible things happened that kept it from being an A?
I don't know. I mean, what is an A?
You define your own grade scale.
I don't know. Now you're pushing back on the fact that I gave it a B. So maybe you define it.
You
give it a grade.
I'm just trying. To me, when you say you're very happy about something, that usually leads to a good thing. And when you dial back on that happiness to give it less than what would be an ideal grade, that must mean something offset that good thing to make it go down a notch or two.
If I'm going to give it a month an A, it better be some sort of financial windfall in it.
Okay, so money has to be involved in order for you to be a perfect month. I get that. I totally understand that.
So B.
Okay.
April's a B.
And so we are now clean resetting into the month of May, and we will see what happens.
So far, it's a D.
Well, listen, you haven't even gotten your paycheck yet.
I know.
We'll see if that happens come a couple weeks from now. But on top of that, we also have a couple things to cover for you today. First and foremost, Big J will give you a nerd alert. That's going to happen before we hit 7 o'clock this morning. If somebody's tuning in for the very first time, it goes, I keep hearing them talk about nerd alert. What does it mean, Big J?
Oh, we did this last week. We redefined what
I know,
it means.
but there are new people tuning in all the time.
We'll be talking about gaming stuff.
Is it all gaming this week?
Today, yeah.
Beautiful. So if you want to get updated in the world of gaming, you're going to want to tune in for Big J's Nerd Alert. Also, we have an opportunity for you to go to the Sold Out Nothing More show. That show is happening in less than a week at the Knitting Factory Concert House. It's been sold out for a pretty long stretch, but DX has your tickets to get in, and we also have a chance for you to meet Nothing More. And so we'll give you an opportunity to get qualified for that and definitely win tickets today. We also are going to go to hell. We got some headlines on the way. We're going to give you a world premiere of a brand new song this morning. So we are looking forward to the show. Before it's all over, maybe we'll get into the D+ territory for Big J. We'll play it by ear.
Maybe.
But let's get started with some Nirvana. This is All Apologies here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J on the X Rocks.
Nick and Big J.
Big J, maybe you want some plans for this weekend. Maybe you're not doing anything special and you want to make a trip up to the mountain. Well, it's happening. A nice spring treat for the good people that want to check out Bogus Basin. They're going to dust off their chairlifts for a bonus day of skiing and snowboarding this Saturday. This marks the second time in its 83-year history that it's opening its slopes up in May. The mountain officials announced yesterday the recreation area reached a 100-inch base depth on March 20th. That set the stage for a nice late-season opportunity. So as the mountain is offering lift service in Idaho, it's the last mountain offering lift service in Idaho this season. Bogus Basin is going to welcome all 24-25 season pass holders, as well as any season pass holder from any other mountain. You'll be able to go up there and ski or snowboard for free. Also, they have day passes on sale as well if you want to check it out. The ski and snowboard equipment rentals will be available, but they're not going to do any lessons or anything on Saturday. They expect to operate the Deer Point Express, the Morningstar Express, and the Superior Express lifts, although no beginner trails will be open. So remember that and keep that in mind for Saturday. And what terrain is available will definitely depend on what the conditions look like when they wake up on Saturday. But if you want to go up to the mountain and ski or board it up, you certainly can on Saturday for just the second time in the mountain's history. So a nice little bonus day of spring skiing. How about that, Big J?
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So go up there and Bogus Basin it up, friends. And maybe you can have yourself a good old time and enjoy one last kind of swoosh down the mountain, Big J, or 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how many times you want to go up. Big J, Shaquille O'Neal is one of the most recognizable names in basketball. He retired from the NBA 15 years ago, which is hard to imagine. But he, of course, has been a panelist for Inside the NBA for many years. He's on countless commercials as well. He's also enjoyed being a DJ, and he's a police officer. But he's the latest NBA player, or former NBA player, to add general manager to his resume. Shaq has signed on as the GM of the Sacramento State men's basketball program. He'll join the program in an unpaid voluntary capacity and work with his son, who recently transferred to Sacramento State as a player. So that makes sense because Shaquille O'Neal famously went to what college, Big J?
LSU.
Nailed it. But his son is a basketball player, and Shakir is playing at Sacramento State. And so he will have an opportunity to learn a little bit from his dad, and his dad's going to help out his kid, maybe make that transition, although he probably would be the first player. I mean, I'd have to look it up. I can't think of a single player that's made the transition from Sacramento State to the NBA. But if the NBA over the last couple of years has taught us anything, is that nepotism lives. You understand?
Yeah, it does.
And so maybe, just maybe, Shaquille O'Neal has a chance to do good things as well. Big J, you had told all of us on the radio that you were waited with bated breath for the new Matthew Gray Gubler series, Einstein. I have bad news for you.
I know I saw.
CBS has postponed the drama to the 2026-2027 season, so that's a long time in the future. That means you're not going to get it for almost 2 years, dude. That's because of scheduling constraints. For who they didn't say, I'm guessing it's the star, but the show is about Albert Einstein's great-grandson solving cases, facing competition from the new series, and renewed shows planned for next season. That is why CBS is like, let's just do it, because they also have a comedy coming about the DMV, and so they're going to move this further down the calendar and kick it down the road a little bit, but it's still going to happen. You're just going to have to wait a little bit before you see your buddy Matt on the TV in a regular basis.
Ah, shucks.
What has he been doing in the meantime?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Okay, so he's not in anything else that I'm not aware of.
No, he isn't in the Criminal Minds stuff that's been on Paramount Plus. So I'm not sure what he's been up to. Probably this.
I don't think it's so much him as much as CBS is like, do we have room for this Einstein show? And they don't think they do.
They're tripping over their ratings as it is.
Well, listen, they are the most watched network television.
No, that's what I'm saying. Everything is hitting for the most part.
It is comically lower than it's been in years and years and years and years, as less people watch over-the-air TV. But still, listen, take the win when you can get it, right? Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your first round of important stuff. It is the X Rocks.
Here's traffic.
That is Green Day. That is Longview here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J, you and the family travel a lot. I don't see you in this particular scenario, but maybe somebody you know could be, and you might want to give them some advice. Because people can get cold on airplanes when they're traveling from time to time. And that may mean that they ask for one of those fancy blankets that the airplanes have, the fleeces that are usually on the flights that are free of charge. Well, they were talking to a bunch of flight attendants about some like airline hacks and all those kind of things, or advice, maybe things that people don't know about flying on the airplane. And the number one thing that flight attendants said not to do, Big J, is to take one of those free blankets from the airline. For a couple of things, because a lot of times they'll come with extra goodies like hair, food remnants, mold, bodily fluids. Yes, all sorts of different stuff. Even flight attendants won't touch them. According to the attendants, the passengers, she's seen them use them to clean up something they've spilled, like if they spilled like the drink that they were served, or they wipe their nose, or they catch toenail clipping. She says the grossest thing that anybody's ever done is use the blankets to change a baby's diaper, according to Travel and Leisure magazine. Why are the blankets so gross, comes the next question. The answer is, well, they don't wash them after every flight. Now, that's not the case if you are flying internationally. If you're flying internationally, they do have a service that washes them in hot water and then seals them in plastic bags again to be reused. But on domestic flights, basically they're instructed to just refold the blankets and put them back in the bin. So they're probably not washed, maybe not for a very long time. I don't know if there's any in the article in Travel and Leisure magazine. They don't cover when the domestic flight stuff is folded or is cleaned. So those blankets, if you're going from like Boise to somewhere else, probably not in the cleanest, most pristine conditions. So if you get cold on an airline, that's understandable. Bring your own jacket or bring your own blanket. That's the best way to make sure that whatever germs you get on you are your own gross germs, Big J, not somebody else's or whatever else. Not just germs, bodily functions, whatever the case may be. But you don't strike me as somebody that would have taken a blanket even if it was offered to you in an airplane scenario, because you usually enjoy being on the colder side, even if you are cold, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not us, man.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody in your family has, or if you were on the regular like to grab those blankets because they're free, but you might want to think twice about it. Or listen, maybe that stuff doesn't gross you out. Whatever. It should. It really should.
If it doesn't gross you out, that's a problem.
It's your own life. You do whatever you want to do. But if I were you, I'd stay away from those blankets. I've never used one.
Now you're never going to use one.
No, I don't think I ever would. I mean, those thoughts are probably already in my head, to be honest.
Yeah.
And just to have any kind of thoughts I have confirmed makes me realize that, the less I touch things that are free to the general public, probably the better for me and my well-being. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Here's something good for your well-being. Big J's Nerd Alert. That's next on the X Rocks.
Let's go talk to the nerds. Nerd Talk. The best in tech and gaming. Big J's Nerd Alert on 100.3 The X Rocks.
All right, not such great news in the world of gaming as EA, one of the bigger publishers, is cutting back and laying some people off and closing down a few studios and ending some games. Titanfall 2 was going to be one of those games that was going to be coming out no longer. That is all being squashed, along with some other interesting things. Codemasters has confirmed that no other expansions will be released for 2023 EA Sports WRC. Now, you're probably wondering what that is. That is a rally game, Nick, and that is a very popular game, or it has been in the past anyways. The veteran UK racing studio published the announcement via EA.com. Quote, our WRC partnership was a culmination of sorts for our Codemasters journey with off-road racing, spanning decades through titles like Colin McRae Rally and Dirt. Reads the studio statement. We've provided a home for eventually all enthusiasts striving tirelessly to push the boundaries and deliver the exhilarating thrill of driving on the ragged edge. We brought together incredibly talented racing developers, worked with some of the sports icons, and had the opportunity to share a love of rallying. So this is the major rallying game out there, and it's not going to be anymore. So that's a major bummer for sporting and enthusiasts who love playing that game. So major bummer there, and we'll see if anybody wants to take up that.
I feel like this is a pretty scary thing for the video game industry, as a studio that consistently has two of the best-selling games every single year has to cut back on different things.
Have to?
Yeah.
No, they just they're like, oh God, we can't not make billions of dollars every year. It's just along the same lines, Nick, as the cinema and studios. If you don't have a tentpole game
but
anymore,
they have two tentpole games.
No, but I'm saying is those other games, just like other movies and projects, don't matter as much. They're not going to get as much attention.
Yeah.
And games are very expensive to make. So yeah, it is very concerning, and it is a bummer for a lot of fans. And if you're right, very concerning when a studio of that size is doing that. It's not good. Hopefully somebody will pick up the slack, because there is an interest there, and there are a lot of fans of those racing games. So there you go. Another studio that loves making money, Call of Duty. They're steeped in the 420 culture, Nick. It's something Activision has monetized for years now, doubling down on the fan base's reputation for kicking back and relaxing while going on kill streaks. But with Black Ops 6 and Warzone, the 420 microtransactions have leveled up, and now Seth Rogen is in the game, and some fans have had enough of it. Season 3 Reloaded update, which is out today, is pretty much all about 420 culture, even though it's arriving 11 days after the day itself. The, quote, joint operations limited time mode is back in Black Ops 6 multiplayer variant that adds modifiers, including a plus 420 score bonus, third-person visual impairment, double health hardcore, paranoia sounds, all of those things And there's even a high art event, which includes yet another 1,100 COD points premium event pass. They did this with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Nick, if you remember me complaining about that, this time the world-famous pothead Seth Rogen is an actual star of the event pass and with exclusive skins and premium track. By the way, when they started this on 420, they released Chronic and Blunt Man, Nick. So Jay and Silent Bob were in the game as well. And a lot of folks are like, hey, this is a little too much. And you know what? It's been too much for me for a while. I've completely stopped playing Call of Duty. These microtransactions, I've always kind of like had a thing where like, you don't have to do them, but everybody does. It's crazy how many people buy these things, and it ruins the the game. It's very Fortnite-y, and it's not what I signed up for, so I've stopped playing Call of Duty. I like that they branch out and are doing things, but this is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't mind when it's pop culture things that you enjoy, but when it's pop culture things other people enjoy, you don't enjoy it.
Well, I'll say this. Had I known that those things were going to turn into this, I would have said no thank you.
The Rambo and John McClane stuff?
Because it's completely wacky, and I'm thankful that the folks over at DICE and Battlefield appear not to be taking in on this thing.
Yeah, but as much people that are taking part in it, it ain't going away anytime soon.
Well, for Call of Duty, we'll see. We'll see what happens because sometimes people will put their foot down. They just got to stop buying that stuff. Ubisoft has laid out its year one content map road for Assassin's Creed Shadows. The open world title will be treated to a new story content, parkour improvements, quality of life accessibility updates, and more over the next several months. The biggest content drop will be the game's first expansion, Claws of Arwaji, arriving later this year and free for those who pre-ordered the game. They had some issues when it came out originally, so it'll be free for them. It unfolds after Shadow's epilogue and takes place in the new island of Arwaji. Expect to meet new friends and foes, so they're going to continue to make this game as big as they can. Free smaller narrative updates called Story Drops will add quests introducing new characters and fleshing out existing allies' backstories along with new abilities and activities. So you've got that to look forward to if you're playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. Nick, have you touched this? It's a third-person game.
No, I'm about 2 Assassin's Creeds behind the current one. I will wait till the 2 come out for free on my PlayStation Plus plan, and then I will play them. Yeah, I'm in no hurry.
Yeah, not sure when that's going to happen, though. The game still has a stellar player rating. People are really enjoying the new Assassin's Creed.
Good.
So there's your Nerd Alert.
Thank you very much, Radio's Big J. On top of that, we got ourselves some important stuff along with We're Going to Hell. It's all on the way on the X Rocks.
Important stuff. Launch newsfeed. On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Big J, a new study from Cornell University has found an interesting offshoot of all the AI that is going around. And it suggests that because of all the AI and the fact that it's omnipresent and everything, and a lot of it is voice-based and voice-activated, Big J, everyone's starting a little bit to sound more American. They found that Indian users are using predictive text were pushed towards more Western writing patterns. When Indian writers described their particular situations without the use of AI, they included regional details and specifics. However, when using AI, their cultural specifics disappeared, instead replaced by generic descriptors like rich and flavorful. But AI writing could lead to cultural stereotyping and language kind of like basically stripping it all down and making everybody sound the same. People start writing similarly to others, and that's really not what they want with AI. They want you to keep your own style and your own cultural things and your surroundings, but AI is stripping that all kind of away, Big J.
Yeah.
And giving this kind of like sanitized version of these things.
No, the digital colonization.
Okay. What do we do?
Hard take, right?
Do we just stop using it?
I don't know.
Yeah, because
it's way over my pay grade, bro.
It's I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe you start using different types of AI for the region that you're based in, and maybe that kind of specializes in that. Or then again, don't forget that AI. One of the powerful things about it is you can teach it how to write things in your language.
What you tell it to.
But when you just put it in a particular thing, they're just saying like the way that it instantaneously spits stuff out, if you're not, well versed enough in that world to understand that you need to put in things like that, it will make it just pretty much bland and sanitized and Americanized. And so something you need to keep in mind if you care about those kind of things. And if you're in another country, you probably should. Big J, the closest NHL franchise to us is the Utah Hockey Club. And it's going to reveal a new official team name very, very soon.
Ooh.
But they might have accidentally spoiled it for themselves on their own YouTube channel. Now, of course, if you remember, fans were given 3 options to vote on at the start of this very season. And that was the Hockey Club, the name that they currently have, Mammoth, or the Outlaws. Now, most people expected the name to be announced later in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but a fan spotted on the team's YouTube channel had changed its name to Utah Mammoth, which seems like a big clue as how the voting turned out, Big J.
So, I think I better talk to Wolfgang. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, don't forget that Wolfgang's band name is Mammoth WVH, not just one word. So I believe Utah have the opportunity to still use that as their team name if they want to. Plus, I promise you they wouldn't have gotten this far in the process had they not had it copywritten already.
Oh, boy, I don't know about that.
Well, remember, they had to take one of them down because they didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing...
I don't know. Did they learn their lesson?
I would hope so. But you're right. I don't really know, but I'm thinking at this point, yes, it's probably going to be the Utah Mammoth. Which, I don't know, man. I didn't like any of them, to be perfectly honest, but that's just me. And so to all you Mammoth fans, enjoy. Big J, DC Studios, boy, they sure are turning out to be a lot like Warner Brothers Studios, even though James Gunn is in charge of it. They've been doing a lot of false starts and naming a lot of projects and then taking them off the slate. And I guess we can add Sergeant Rock to that list. If you remember, that was the World War II film that Luca Guadagnino was set to direct. Originally, Daniel Craig, which starred in a movie that Luca directed and wrote called Queer, was going to be Sergeant Rock. Then he pulled out, and then they went ahead and signed Colin Farrell as the lead. They also cast a bunch of other people for this movie, and now it's off the actual schedule. Yeah. Now, if you believe some of the behind-the-scenes things that leaked, DC Studios thought about a couple of things. Number one, they weren't exactly sure if they wanted to go this general route, which is essentially, like, Sergeant Rock has no powers. This is just really just a war movie that it boils down to. And James Gunn was starting to have second thoughts about whether or not this is a branch of the DC universe they want to explore. And then, apparently, they also lost confidence in Luca and his ability to direct the blockbuster. He's done a lot of great things. He, of course, was the gentleman behind Challengers, a movie that you really did enjoy, and Queer as well, which got a Academy Award nomination, but they weren't exactly sure how he was going to do with an action-paced blockbuster, and so they're like, do we even make this movie? And I guess they had second thoughts, and so they've pulled it on the schedule. Now, there are people that say it's officially canceled. There are other people that say it's just paused. But here's what we know right now. They're not moving forward in making the movie, at least for now. And so here we go. Also, we know that the Batman Part 2 has also been delayed. That's now not going to come out until October 1st, 2027. So I ask you, Big J, what the hell's going on at DC Studios all of a sudden?
Well, I think Matt Reeves is having some personal issues. Rumor has it he's fighting a disease. So that's part of that.
The Batman thing? Yeah. But not the other stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're like, hey, well, I don't know if this fits or not.
Yeah, but it is weird to be this far in the process and then have second thoughts. It's usually not a thing that happens. When you have everybody, or most people cast, and a script that everybody seems to love, and a director attached, it's rare.
Perhaps Sergeant Rock was got the green light because of Daniel Craig.
But then why go even further, I guess?
Well, they're like, maybe at that point they were like, hey, maybe we could do this still. And then they decided, no, we can't.
I mean, it's not like Colin Farrell's a bum. You know what I mean? The guy's an award-winning actor.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think Daniel Craig is. And so, you have an opportunity to do this, but it is strange to me. But then again, DC Studios, an offshoot of Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers has been fumbling all over the place lately. So I was hoping that we'd have a little bit more consistency and leadership in James Gunn, but it is, again, maybe he's just doing what he's been told. I don't know.
Well, there's a partnership there. He's not sole head.
Right, that's true. Just the head of DC Studios, not of Warner Brothers, which also, again, kind of oversees all of this stuff.
With Peter Safran.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Hey, there's your important stuff. We're going to go to hell. It's next on the X Rocks.
Here's traffic. bringing to light stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
What the hell is this?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Big J, today's We're Going to Hell story is going to talk a little bit about a subject that the lamestream media doesn't want to cover.
Yeah, lamestream media.
We're talking about gray on gray crime, Big J.
What is that? Old guy? Old people?
That's right.
Old people, okay.
It's a whole segment of population and crime that just doesn't get covered. What happens when two elderly people decide we are bitter enemies and one of us needs to go? And there's a reason why it's called gray on gray crime because, yes, we're talking about people that are in the twilight of their lives, Big J.
Yeah.
The swan song, if you will. And where most people go when that happens is, of course, Florida.
Florida.
Clearwater, Florida, in particular, is where we're going to go. And, Big J, this story revolves around an 88-year-old woman named Carolyn Segrist. And Carolyn and her 77-year-old friend were decided they were going to live it up, Big J, a little bit. And why don't we spend our random Tuesday just playing some bingo, right?
Okay, we like to do that.
Go. So they go to the bingo parlor there in Clearwater, and they have themselves a good old time. And I got to be honest, the 77-year-old victim, she goes on a little bit of a run. All right?
Okay.
Not one, not two, 3 bingos in one particular trip.
Uh-oh.
And she is rolling in it. And, I mean, she's having the time of her life. Can't believe this is how it's all going down. And, of course, our friend, 88-year-old Carolyn, was like, man, I didn't win jack squat. I mean, I picked her up from her house, took her to the bingo hall, hung out with her for all these hours, and I got nothing.
Bubkiss.
Nothing. So after the third bingo, Carolyn's like, listen, pack up your blink. We're going, all right? So she's mad, okay? She's like, grab your cards, get your good
Old
luck
people.
troll. We're getting the hell out of this bingo hall. This thing is cursed. And so her 77-year-old friend is in an electric mobilized scooter. You know what I mean? To get from point A to point B. I mean, she's 77 years old.
Yeah.
And so Carolyn apparently was not happy with the amount of time that her friend was taking packing up and getting to her vehicle. And so, Big J, she did what any of us would do. She got into her car and she ran down her friend and hit her on the electric scooter.
Jesus. Just mowed her down.
And then left. It just took off. Just peeled out of the parking lot.
Unbelievable.
The cops are charging that she ended up striking her friend's mobility scooter with the front of her Buick Envision and then drove away. Apparently, her friend was thrown from the scooter and had to be hospitalized because of the injuries, according to the arrest affidavit. She did not stop at the scene, and she ended up exchanging, stopping for anybody. She just went right back home. Court records do not reveal the extent of injury suffered by her friend, but we do know she had to go to the hospital. 4 hours after the incident, police ended up rearresting the retired 88-year-old woman for leaving the scene of a crash, causing a serious injury. That is a felony. She was booked into county jail, and she is scheduled for a court appearance tomorrow morning. She lives about 4 miles away from the bingo hall where this happened. And, of course, she lives in a condominium there that she purchased with her husband back in 1987. This is not her first driving offense, Big J. She had a crash back in 2023 that she was at fault for, but she did not run anybody over on purpose. This is her first time extracting bingo-related revenge on one of her quote-unquote friends. So, hey, man, watch your back. Even if your friends...
Or how about treat your friends with some respect and they gave you a ride, give them some of your winnings on your bingo?
Now, maybe she did. I don't know. I think she might have just been jealous that she won 3 bingos. I mean, listen, we played bingo together. We'd probably be pretty upset if somebody that was even not even in our party, but somebody there won 3 in a row. We'd be like, what the hell, man?
I'd be like, I'd accuse him of cheating.
There you go.
That's the first thing I would
And maybe
do.
that's what Carolyn's thinking. Like, her friend's a cheater, and now she's got all this bingo money, and she doesn't deserve to be on this earth any longer.
Bingo money.
And so I guess that's what's going on. So watch out for gray on gray crime is my point. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X-Rocks.
Here's traffic inside the TDS Fiber Traffic Center on one.
That is Enter Sandman here on The Morning After with Nick and Big J. Always nice when we get to world premiere a song for you on this very morning show. And unlike some of these songs, Big J, this is a song that we had heard of several weeks ago and really, really liked and could not wait until we could play for you guys. Yeah. And today is the day we get to do that. So, Big J, what are we giving the people the world premiere of?
Some new music from Mammoth Wolfgang Van Halen. It's called The End.
Here comes the world premiere on the X. Nice. That is Wolfgang Van Halen, and that is The End. It is a world premiere here on The Morning After with Nick and Big J here on 100.3 The X Rocks. Tap it into Dad a little bit there with that particular song, Big J.
Yeah, definitely some shred skills passed down.
And he said that he had planned that he had been practicing that tapping intro and the tapping part of the song, which, of course, is the technique that Eddie Van Halen used, the two-head tapping. And he had been obviously practicing that since he was a little kid, and he wanted to incorporate that into a song to pay homage to his late father. And that's where he came up with the idea for the intro for The End, and it kind of makes its way through the song. A damn good one, if you ask me. Keep listening for that. I'm sure it'll pop up on Cage Match here very, very soon, and you guys can tell us what you think about it. And, of course, they're going to head out on a fall tour here in the United States along with Miles Kennedy. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get a Boise date on that. We can keep our fingers crossed. But Wolfgang, of course, a multiple-time guest of this show. Very good guy. We wish him the best, and always nice when they release kick-ass music like that, you know?
Damn right.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Important stuff is on the way. So is your Pop Culture Smackdown. Hold tight. It's the X.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Americans' attitudes towards having fun has changed, Big J. We're at a point now where 72% of us would rather just stay home than go out and do anything. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Only 27% of people actually want to go out on the town, according to the new Talker Research poll. Basically because so much time is spent not only prepping to get ready, but also getting there and getting home. People are like, why bother? I got to take a shower. I got to get dressed. If I'm a lady, I got to put on makeup. Then I got to drive to the event. Then I got to pretend like I'm having a good time. And then I got to drive all the way home. Ugh, I hate it already. And so that is why a majority of us would rather stay home. Now, the flip side to that is also we don't want to host anybody over at our house. So we have become a nation of shut-ins, Big J. What the hell happened to us?
I don't agree with that last part. I don't mind hosting people in my house.
Sure. But, I mean, you're not, certainly that's the minority. You may enjoy that, but 53% of people say that they have no interest in having a bunch of guests over at their house. So, I mean, that's not a huge majority, but it is a majority of Americans that would rather not do that and do the hosting, because there is a lot of work that goes into that as well. Cleaning up, cooking, hosting, making sure you're doing a good job at that. Everybody has everything they need. Shopping, it's a lot. It can certainly be a lot, so I understand. But it is interesting because just 10 years ago, Big J, we were at about a 60% of Americans would rather stay home. We've always been, I'd rather stay home than go out, but we have certainly become much more shut in. It's also probably because a night out in the town is ridiculously expensive at this point.
Yes.
And so you're like, do I want to throw down $300? I don't know. But maybe you do. And if you do, have a wonderful time. Big J, Jeff Spurbeck, longtime agent and business partner of NFL Hall of Famer John Elway, passed away at 62 on Wednesday after he fell from a golf cart that was driven by John Elway, according to Yahoo Sports. He suffered a traumatic brain injury at the Madison Club in La Quinta, California last week. He was placed on life support. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office is investigating the incident currently. Spurbeck had been managing Elway since 1990, represented over 100 NFL players in his career, and since the year 2015 has been with Elway in a lot of different businesses, including his car business and his winery, as well as contributions to marketing and management for Elway, who is with the Denver Broncos, of course. This sounds like a terrible and awful thing to have happen, and I don't know whatever will come of it, but, I mean, you know, we messed around on golf carts before. Who the hell knows what happened, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good, though. So hopefully everything is all right in the John Elway camp, but he certainly feels awful about it. He released a statement talking about the sudden loss of his friend, and he's not happy about it, but got to be a tough situation. Be careful when driving those golf carts, man. There's no seatbelts on there. You understand? running around, rolling that thing,
Yeah.
being careful. You tipped a golf cart or two in your day, I'm sure.
Damn right I have.
So you got to take it down a notch. Make those things have restrictors on them for a reason.
That's true.
We know what Guy Ritchie is up to next, Big J. He is going to direct the sequel to Roadhouse starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
That makes sense to me.
It does? Well, Jake Gyllenhaal and Guy Ritchie have worked together a couple times before. This will be their third time they've worked together. But he will be reprising his role as the ex-UFC fighter Dalton in Roadhouse 2.
Dalton.
Will Beal is going to write the script. He wrote Bad Boys Ride or Die. And details remain undisclosed. Here we just know it's going to be on Prime Video. We know that Guy Ritchie is taking over for Doug Liman, who was not happy with the way the first rollout
He
went.
was pissed.
But Jake Gyllenhaal appears to be okay with it because he's coming back for part 2. It did do pretty well on Amazon Prime. It was a movie I was looking forward to. I did not enjoy Roadhouse. I thought it was one of the worst movies of the year last year. But that's just me. I know that they got a bunch of clicks on it. I don't know how many people finished it, but Guy Ritchie is coming back. Did you ever watch the first one?
No.
With Conor
No,
McGregor?
I haven't gotten down with that yet. I
it's-
keep reminding myself when I go, like, how much you'd hated it.
Man,
So,
I really did hate it. I really wanted to like it, and I liked Jake Gyllenhaal. I'll put it that way. But again, when you make Dalton a ex-UFC fighter, it takes out all the fun of the movie and the plot
That's
of what's
the
going on.
mystery of why he's so damn good
Right.
at kicking people's ass.
And when you're an ex-UFC fighter, you know you're just going to demolish everybody that you go up against, and it takes out some of the fun of just an average dude learning how to kick ass and take care of this little teeny tiny bar down in Florida, of course, is where the new one is set.
You want to draw me in, make him like a former morning show host.
Yeah, that'll get Big J locked in from the go.
Like, oh, really?
Huh. Interesting. In Boise, huh? All right.
Oh.
All right. I'm in.
And he's not fat? Weird.
Tuning out. Morning After with Nick and Big J. That's your important stuff. We got your pop culture smackdown. It's happening next on the X Rocks.
Pop Culture Smackdown. Right. On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, and that band right there, Nothing More, they're coming to town next Tuesday at the Knitting Factory. Show is sold out. Let's get you to the shows. You can see it for yourself. It will also hook you up with qualifying for an opportunity to meet the band in a VIP meet and greet. You just got to beat Nick here in Pop Culture Smackdown. And Nick, I don't know. This isn't your wheelhouse today, so I don't know. I don't think it's going to go great. Sorry, man.
So it should be
Just the rotation.
easy tickets to Nothing More and a chance to meet the band if you want in.
I'm not trying to humiliate you. It's just
208
where the questions land.
287-1003. Well, you control the questions. You
Right?
understand
I
that,
know.
right?
Weird, huh?
And so if you would like to play, get on the phone and possibly win this really, really nice prize and have a good time in the process. Best of luck to everybody.
Karma, pal.
Beat Culture and Pop Culture Smackdown.
Sound good. Hello,
Wow.
the X.
Hello,
Hey, man, what's up? What's your name?
my name is Dennis. Good
All right.
morning.
Good morning to you, Dennis. You're up
Morning.
first.
Good morning. This How You Doing character on Friends was an actor. Was it Ross, Joey, or Chandler?
What was the first part?
This How You Doing character on Friends was an actor. Was it Ross, Joey, or Chandler?
It was Joey.
Joey Tribbiani. That's right. Nick, which character on Friends' job was a professional chef?
That was Monica.
There you go, man. Look at you studying up on the Friends. All right, Dennis, what was Rocky's last name in the boxing franchise movies?
Balboa.
Balboa is correct. Nick, in the movie Dodgeball, what was the name of Vince Vaughn's gym that needed saving?
Average Joe's.
Average Joe's Gym is right on. Well done. Dennis, John Belushi's brother also made it to Saturday Night Live. What was his name? Was it Brian, Anthony, or Jim?
Jim.
Jim is correct.
According to Jim, anyway.
According to Jim. This actor, Nick, is the only second to posthumously win an Oscar. Who was it?
Will you rephrase it? Will you read
This actor was the only the second actor to posthumously win an Oscar.
Okay, so the second person to win an Oscar after they died.
Yes.
Okay. And it's an actor, right?
Actor.
Okay. Then I'm trying to think. I know Heath Ledger did. I'm trying to think. There had to have been somebody before him that had done it. So the only one I can think of is Heath Ledger. I'm going to say Heath Ledger.
Well done. That's right.
Oh, right. Nice.
Wonder Woman also has an alter ego name. What is it? Carla Davners, Diana Prince, or Pepper Potts?
Diana Prince.
That's correct, Nick. As a child actor, Ben Affleck starred on a PBS educational series. What was it?
I have no idea. The Electric Company.
The Electric Company is right.
Get out of here. Are
No,
you
it's not.
Well, what the hell, dude?
Just messing with you. It was the Voyage of the Mimi.
The what is it?
Voyage of the Mimi.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, me either.
In my life. That
Figured
was
you wouldn't have either.
clearly the stumper. Congratulations, Dennis. You got yourself all set up with Nothing More tickets to go check out the band.
Stumpers was the friends question for you.
on Tuesday, and also you are qualified to meet the band. Hang on one second, dude. We will hook you up with everything you need to know.
So good job, Nick.
Thank you, man. Morning After with Nick and Big J. We have a big night tonight at Zoo Boise. You're going to learn all about it. That's next on the X Rocks.
Here's traffic inside the T.
Of a down, that is Chop Suey here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. It is a very special evening for members of our community at Zoo Boise tonight, and we're going to get into that in a second as we welcome back onto the show our very good friend Jeff Augusta from Zoo Boise. Good morning, Jeff. How are you, buddy?
Yeah. Oh, I got that. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That.
It is good to see you. Thank you very much for coming in here and early and talking a little bit about things at the zoo. We appreciate you, brother.
I really appreciate you guys.
We are going to get into the adaptive evening, which is going on this very evening at Zoo Boise. But first, Big J and I have a very important question to ask.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the radio yesterday. It's a very important thing that's trending on the internet right now. But we have an expert in studio, so we have to ask you, who would win in a fight, 100 men or a gorilla?
Oh, gosh. Remember, I'm not the animal expert. I always got to preface that. So I'm going to go with my opinion. I mean, are all 100 men coming at the same time?
I think it's a free-for-all. So,
It's a
yes,
free-for-all.
it
No
can
weapons,
be.
though.
No
Okay.
weapons,
But
it's a hand-to-hand combat with one gorilla, big gorilla, like Silverback style, and 100 men.
And the 100 men can, like, conversate and work together, and they all speak the same language. And, like, I want the preface. I got all the information.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, we've decided that's the case. Yes.
Okay. And are these? Can I choose the? I would say the 100 men. I would say.
All right. That's
I
what
think
Big J said, too.
I think because if you could coordinate an attack, I mean.
Now I feel awful the way we say it. Coordinated attack.
Well, this is horrible. I mean, but we're saying a hypothetical question here.
Yes.
This is all
It is a-
hypothetical.
it is a
This is a
hypothetical.
horrible thing. This should
Yes.
never happen. Let's
Never.
preface that.
Never.
We've made the zoo guy mad.
No, I just don't want to get in trouble by what I say.
No, we're not encouraging anybody to
No.
ever do it. It is a hypothetical question that is trending on the internet,
Yeah.
and so we talked about it yesterday and wanted to get your opinion.
I mean, I think you talk about 100 human beings. I mean, the way that you could come up with an idea, I think I'm going to have to go with 100 humans.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Yeah. That's I believe to be the
I mean,
answer
and
that everybody's
unfortunate. Let's think about it. As humans are usually the ones who are not taking very good care of our animal world. So
Yeah.
I would.
Well, thanks for coming in, Jeff.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Jeff Augusta. Tonight at Zoo Boise, there is a really important event that the zoo has been doing for several years. Of course, Jeff and I both have children that are on the spectrum, and so to have an ability to have an adaptive evening at Zoo Boise is a really cool thing for people that are dealing with that in their lives. And let's talk a little bit about what that means specifically at Zoo Boise. When we say adaptive evening, what does that mean?
yeah, so that's for anybody who might need the zoo to be a little bit quieter, less people. There's not going to be we cap it at a very, very, very low number. It's an ability to come and not have to deal with big crowds, and just get that nice amount of space to really visit the zoo. Plus, there's going to be art stations. There's going to be stations where you can explore different biofacts, which are like skulls and pelts of different animals. Some animal encounters where you're going to be able to meet some of our ambassador animals. And again, it's just one of those things where it's going to be a quieter environment, really a chance to come and see the zoo. And it's for really with anybody who needs that kind of space and that time.
Yeah, and it's an after-hours event. It's very
Yes.
special. The zoo's opening up for this. It's going on from 6 until about 8 o'clock tonight. And, of course, it's an opportunity. One of the things that I talk about with Cash is he's not a real big fan of crowds. He's not a real big fan of loud noises. This gives you an opportunity to kind of have them experience some things that every kid should experience, which is a trip to the zoo and be able to do so on their own terms, which is an incredibly valuable resource for people that have those kind of sensitivities and have those kind of triggers. So I know we've been talking about this for a while, and the zoo's been doing it for a while, but I just want to say thank you on behalf of the community that deals with things like this and need these kind of spaces to have those kind of things that a lot of people take for granted, and it's really nice to have that.
It is, and again, thank you for talking about it and being a part of what we're able to do. And again, it's for anybody who needs that, not just kids. It's for adults, and please, friends and family are welcome as well. But if you do want to come, and this is, obviously I'm trying to push people to come to the zoo, but it's such a low number, you probably do want to pre-register. We will accept walk-ups, but there is a cap on how many people we're going to let in.
Yeah.
And I can't remember that number, but it's like around 100 people.
Sure,
like,
and
it's really small. So you just need to go online and you can register. It's $8 a person. So, and part of that does still go to our wildlife conservation fund, like everything.
Beautiful. And I did see that, just like regular zoo trips, they have some people on staff there that are there to answer questions and guide people through some particular exhibits. So you're getting a true and honest zoo experience. You're just doing so with a lot less people there, which is a valuable kind of commodity when you're dealing with a situation like that. So yeah, you're going to want to check out zooboise.org. You're going to want to register now for the event. It goes on from 6 to 8 o'clock tonight, and then you can kind of get in there and kind of check out the zoo. And I imagine you've been to an adaptive evening before. It's kind of nice and interesting to see the zoo alive at that particular time with not that many people in it. It's a really special experience for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be, and especially from the animal side, this is a time where a lot of animals are a little more active. It's right, some of them may go to bed a little bit earlier and you might see them sleeping, but this is time right after they eat dinner. This is a time when they're, it's a little quieter. They're moving around. It's at twilight, and you kind of see the zoo in a different light as well, which is, I always think is kind of a great time to see, the zoo and the animals.
So if you have a chance, take advantage of the adaptive evening tonight. You could pre-register at zooboise.org. And then, if you are looking for future events, May is a big month for the zoo. You have your gigantic exhibit opening up at some point this month, right?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of stuff happening. May 14th is the Red Panda Passage. That's going to be opening. That's going to be huge. Hopefully I'll be back to talk about that.
Heck yeah.
And then Mother's Day brunch is also around the corner if you need a place to come. And we do a great buffet breakfast and fun stuff for moms as well.
If you get a chance, check out the website, zooboise.org. It's got all the events listed there, including upcoming ones and including really cool special events like the adaptive evening that is happening tonight. As always, Jeff, it's good to talk to you. Anytime we want to talk about fighting another animal, is it okay if we reach out?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we use personal cell phone, we'll talk about that.
You got it.
No. I'm always for a curveball, Got to have fun.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate you, brother. Check out zooboise.org. It's the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Headlines next on the X.
Your daily update of really stupid stuff. It's time for headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines are as follows, Big J. It finally happened. Fake. And bear down. Fake. A Michigan resident who lost $5,000 in cash believed that police attempts to contact them were just another scam. A trooper found the money in the middle of the road on Friday, and a local bank confirmed that a customer recently took out that exact amount. Unfortunately, when police attempted to call the suspected owner, they were completely ignored. The subject must have been listening to the public service announcements about being a victim of fraud and believed he was being scammed. He apparently hung up on the trooper several times. According to the social media report, fortunately, the person eventually was convinced that there was a real-life officer with their money on the other end of the line, and he did get his $5,000 back. But I guess there is being too careful, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're missing something legitimate. You're like, hey.
The scam who cried wolf.
Yeah, but he got his money back. Also, hey, man, keep a better eye on that money. You know what I mean? Like, Don't leave the envelope from your bank on top of your car and drive off with it. I'm trying to think how the only other way that could end up in the middle of the road, and that's the only thing I can come up with. Because he's holding that money and envelope out the window, and then whoop, it just goes. But at least
taunting some poor person. Look at all my money.
Oh no! It finally happened, or bear down.
Bear down.
A Florida woman had a scary run-in with a black bear and only got away unscathed because she fought the animal off with a bag of cookies, Big J. Christian Savage was out for a walk with her Chihuahua when she stopped to look at a bird she saw in a tree. But then something suddenly came in her leg, and she thought it was another dog that was off leash. But then she realized that's a pretty big head for a dog, and before she knew it, a bear was going after her Chihuahua. At one point, the bear had the tiny dog in its mouth, but it did let it go. Kristen then lifted the dog over her head to keep it away from the bear, and then swung a bag of cookies she had with her at the bear's head, which seemed to frighten it off. Kristen says she kind of feels bad because she did smack the bear across the face with the bag of cookies a couple times and threw them at her face, but luckily the dog is even unhurt, so everybody's okay.
Scary moment.
Yeah, that'd be bonkers, right?
Yeah. Maybe the bear just wanted those damn cookies.
I think he's more interested in the dog, probably. You know what I mean?
Not if he spit it out.
No, but probably didn't
It's like,
expect
there's no
to get
meat on this.
Didn't expect to get haymakered by some cookies either. Probably hit him right in the schnoz. It was like, hey, come on, man, what the hell? Wrap it up with it finally happened. Guinness World Records has shared video footage, so we know it's not fake. But there was an actual play date between the world's tallest and the world's shortest dog, Big J. 7-year-old Great Dane named Reginald met a 4-year-old Chihuahua named Pearl. Where did they meet, Big J? Right here in Idaho for the first time ever.
Oh.
Reginald is 3 feet 3 inches tall, while Pearl stands at just 3.59 inches. And apparently Reggie was very careful around Pearl because he's very cautious and very aware, and they got along smashingly. Even when Pearl meets bigger dogs, she's very friendly. So they had a really good time. The odd pairing seemed to hit it off. Don't know if they'll meet again, but hopefully it happens right here in Idaho one more time. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't know if that in and of itself is a world record, but it's nice when two world record holders meet. I'm not sure they're aware of the fact that they're world record holders, but still, not too bad. Right. You ever been around a Great Dane?
Yes.
Do you like those kind of dogs? Those kind of big dogs like that?
I don't mind them.
No?
I don't want to own one.
Just
Thank
too
you very
big?
much. Dude, you know. How much food does Ruby go through?
A lot.
And it's just a baby.
Yeah.
That's my one big push against it, because the wife loves those big dogs. We have a friend who rescued St. Bernards and the Mastiffs, and it's like, I love them, but yeah, that's a lot to deal with.
You'd much rather hang out with the 3.59 inch Pearl and her 3 candles of dog food a day.
It's more my speed, yeah.
Kernels of dog food a day. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your headlines. You're up to date on everything. We're going to have some bad impressions. They're going to come your way next on the X Rocks.
It's the Peak Impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, we got a sold-out show happening at the Knitting Factory next week, Tuesday night. Nothing More will be coming to town. We're going to hook you up with a pair of tickets to that show, and you're going to get qualified for an opportunity to be a part of a VIP meet and greet with the band. That'll be a lot of fun. You just need to figure out the clues for bad impressions today here. Not a person, but a company, Nick.
All right. One of Big J's favorite people. Companies are people,
I love
according
them.
to Big J. And so if you want in on bad impressions, get on the phone, 208-287-1003. You get to go to the sold-out show and possibly meet the band Nothing More. I think Johnny has his shirt on or off at the VIP meet and greet.
Definitely on.
All right. Well, you have to wait until the show until
It's
you see him
before
without
the
a shirt
show,
on.
so it'll be on.
You're probably right. 208-287-1003. You get 3 clues to point you in the right direction of that company. If you get it right, you are in. Are you ready, Big J?
I'm ready.
Then to the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Good morning,
Hi, who's this?
Jackie.
All right, Jackie, you're up first. Good luck.
Yeah, it's a company now, not a person, okay?
Okay.
We like to roll out the pumpkin spice coffee way before it's on time.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
We are based out of Seattle, and now we have a shop on just about every corner of Earth.
Gross. Starbucks.
Starbucks is right.
Starbucks, delicious.
Hang on
What the
one
hell?
second, and we will get some information from you. What was clue 3?
Plan on seeing more of our baristas tricked out in our green and white, the colors of our logo.
And why is Starbucks in the news?
Hey, man, the world is going towards automation real fast, Nick. Everything is automated here and there. But Starbucks planning to hire more baristas and move away from automation. CEO Brian Cool said yesterday, equipment doesn't solve the customer experience that we need to provide. That move goes against the tide, as obviously many food and beverage company establishments are relying more on automation costs. Now, they have a high-tech drink-making system that is automated. You'll find those in a few targeted locations, but for the most part, they want to keep rolling out with baristas making your coffee.
Good move, bad move? What does Big J say?
I think it's a good move. I mean, aside from them not being allowed to be in a union,
yeah.
they want to hire more people, and that's always a good thing.
Is that to say that you enjoy the Starbucks experience from a customer standpoint more than the Dutch Brothers experience?
Yeah, well, personally, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot less conversation.
Big J doesn't like to be talked to.
Forced conversation. Like, so how's your day going? It's they're baristas at Starbucks are too busy making actual coffee.
All right.
Burn.
Shots fired. Morning After with Nick and Big J. That's the Brad Impressions. We'll wrap up the show here next on the X Rocks. Hey, it's from Ghost. It is called Satanized here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. That's going to wrap it up for us for this Thursday. Special thank you to our friend Jeff Augusta, who not only talked to us about a wonderful night tonight at Zoo Boise for those of you that have sensitivities to crowds and loud noises. The adapted evening is happening tonight. You can get more information at zooboise.com, but also gave us an official response on the 100 men versus a gorilla question that we have been debating for the past 2 days.
It's official.
And that's the kind of stuff you tune into this show for, let's be honest. Also want to say thank you to Big J for giving us a big nerd alert. We had a chance to give away some Nothing More tickets. That will continue tomorrow as we wrap up the week. We're very, very excited for that, but it does leave you with the floor, Big J.
Yes, and today there will be podcasts after the show. Yesterday, technical. I don't have like half my head doesn't have hair because I pulled it out.
No, we had technical difficulties yesterday, but there will be two podcasts today. We're going to be doing.
I had difficulties everywhere.
So if you missed the Morning After podcast tomorrow or yesterday, today is the day you want to tune in for it and check it out wherever podcasts are available. Of course, we wouldn't mind if you subscribed to it and liked it as well. And then if you happen to be a fan of the Morning After the Movies podcast, which, believe it or not, Big J, there are a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
You can check out a new episode that probably will go live at some point, either later on today or early tomorrow. Because there is a big movie release that hits theaters, and we are going to go check it out and give you the full Morning After review.
What is that?
It is called The Thunderbolts Asterisk.
Thunderbolts!
And so we will watch that and enjoy, as Jay and I were talking off air today, I believe the 36th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Jesus.
And we have seen every single one of them in the theater.
No, I
believe,
haven't.
Right?
No.
Oh, that's right. You didn't see the Eternals
I didn't
in the
see
theater.
Eternals.
Is that the only one you didn't see?
Haven't seen it at all, yeah.
In the theater? Or period?
Yeah.
All the Ant-Mans you saw in the theater?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Okay.
the last one.
Last two. Morning After with Nick
Never mind the other one,
and
but-
Big J. There's the show. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good one. It's the X Rocks.
Big insurance company.